So we just wanted to go over a few things that we have to do before we really start tearing into the old house, the old mobile home. One of those was having to fix the spigot. We have a well out here that we use for irrigation. We can use it for water if we wanted to go that route for potable water. But what happened was our daughter's dog got his tether wrapped around the spigot and just snapped it in half. So it wasn't just an easy fix. I had to dig down, dig it all out, and replace the pipe. And I did put a new faucet on it just because the old one felt kind of cruddy. And then we have to get a on-demand water heater. We're using a propane on-demand water heater we bought from Murray. They're not a sponsor or anything. They're just a company we liked. And we're going to hook that up to the motorhome that we're living in so that we have hot water. The motorhome does not have a hot water tank. So we thought we would do an on-demand water heater that maybe I could use somewhere else in the build, depending on how we like it. So I'm getting that ready to plumb into the motorhome. Right now I built a box for it. I put it in one of the old kitchen cabinets so that I can insulate it a little bit and keep it dry when it does rain, and hopefully even get through a winter with it as we progress into these projects. The other things was what?
You have to finish the rabbit hutch. Our son has a rabbit, a pet rabbit, and he's been living in a little small cage, and he and my son decided that they would build a larger cage for the rabbit to live in. So they've been working on that together. And those are the three big projects, kind of big projects that we need to do before we can start tearing the main house down and getting ready for our demolition and our project of building the house.
The little rabbit hutch is almost done, and when we actually start getting into the action, filming some of the stuff that we're actually doing, you'll see a lot more of that. We both have very little experience in doing anything like this. I've helped people here and there. I've got friends and family that are in the trades, but other than that, I mean, this is the biggest project I've ever undertaken, well, that we've ever undertaken. And so we're going to learn a lot. We're going to make a lot of mistakes, and we just hope to be able to capture it all on film and have a good laugh. So wish us luck.
Thanks for watching. Now it is.
This is going to take forever. Forever. Kind of like our marriage. Forever. That was fast.
Well, it's not all that rusty, is it?
Nope. Okay, that should give me enough to glue on.
Show me the difference in that pipe again.
Well, that's how thin. This is schedule 80 pipe, that's schedule 40 PVC. And this is just so much more thin walled. That's why, see here how the pipe got bent and then it punctured, that didn't puncture, but it created a hole. Just split it out. And I put that watertight epoxy on there that it lasted for the rest of the summer, but
What do you mean?
It didn't last forever. It started leaking again. It's a big hole.
Oh, you mean when you first did it?
Yeah.
Oh. The dog got his tether wrapped around this spigot and snapped it. That's why we're having to fix it.
Is that a hole? That looks like there's a hole there. Damn it. I think. Yeah. There's a hole right here as well. I don't know. It's never an easy chore, is it?
Well, what fun would there be in that?
Not supposed to be fun.
Well, good. Then you're getting your way, because it's not.
So, all these little things to do before we start the big project. There we go. Oh, I might not have to. I can just bend that out of the way.
Yep, that is a hole. I can see the sunlight through it.
Can you?
Yep.
Right there. Good thing we caught that.
Yeah.
That would piss me off, turning the water on. All right, let's cut it again. We don't need this anymore. If you don't have one of these oscillating tools, get one. They are awesome. Cool. Let's make sure that these are going to fit. Man, it doesn't like that. The pipe's a little out of round. I'm just making sure that this coupling will fit on it. And right now it's not going on. I'm going to need a rubber mallet. And I can tell you from experience, don't ever not use primer. Always use primer. It actually does something to the PVC to make it stick a lot better. Then you count to 612. It sets pretty quick. It'll rise on you if you don't hold it down. So always make sure there's a little lip of plastic in there so you know you've got it all the way in there. This spigot feels really crusty, but it worked, right?
Yeah. Well, it did. Before the dog ripped it off of there.
Yeah, but I mean, it didn't leak or anything like that. I can always put a wrench on this and then screw it. But if I put it on like that, it's just going to be too low. How high do we want it?
Well, like it was, I guess.
So up to about here. I'll cut it about here.
I think it was taller than that. Hold it up again. It was taller than that.
Oh, well, we gotta see how tall that thing is. That goes down a ways.
Oh.
I'll just cut it up here.
Let me see. Let me see.
That was halfway in the ground.
Yeah.
So, I'll cut it about here. It's going to be higher than it was, but
Well, it was
that's
higher
fine.
when we moved here, and we've cut it like 3 times now.
Well, it's broken. How many? It froze that one time. Or, no, it's frozen twice, I
It's
think.
frozen twice, and the dog broke it once.
And that doesn't include when the renters were here.
Right.
Because it froze all the freaking time. So what we're doing is we're replacing the spigot, the valve. The old one seemed kind of gritty. Like there was something in it or it was about ready to go bad. I can probably rebuild it, but I'll do that later. So I went and bought a couple extras. I've got 3 spigots for my well on the property, and they always seem to freeze or get broken somehow. The dogs broke this one. They got their tethers tied around it and snapped it. So all I'm doing is I'm putting the spigot on so I can get it nice and tight, the valve, and then I'm just going to go glue it onto the pipe here in a few minutes. So it's just a regular 1-inch gate valve. All my pipe for my well is all 1-inch PVC. We just replaced the pump, the well pump, gosh, about 2 or 3 months ago. It had burned up. So we went and bought a new one, and my neighbor helped me pull the old one out. We're going to call that good. Let's go glue it. I'm just going to put a little tape back on this rebar. Don't break my neck first. Because I'm fat, old, and slow.
That's our mantra.
Yeah, because I don't bend well. I have to get on the floor. All this will is just help keep it a little bit rigid. It should be longer, but I've extended this. It's going to go into that pipe there, so I'm not that concerned about it. Just kind of using up this roll of old tape. So that's it. We'll turn the well on tomorrow. We'll just let it cure overnight. That's probably overkill, but I just need to make sure that I have an extra bunch of valves and pipe and stuff like that, just so that I can keep these repaired. And I might have it over there in the Connex, but everything's kind of scattered right now.
So here's the spigot all finished, brand new pipe. He put the whatever this green tubing is called back onto it, and it works great, doesn't leak. I rinsed it off, I rinsed all the mud off of it from back installing it again. And there it is. One more project done before we can start the big tear down of this house. So here's where the bunny lives now. This is his cage. He's been in for a couple of years since we got him. He's a little crowded in there. It's a little tight. We put a little bed in there for him, which he chews. But this is the rabbit that our son takes care of, and this is his cage. And this is his new home.
It's a bunny condo, just made out of scrap we had laying around the wood pile and here and there. The only thing we had to buy was this mesh for 10 bucks at a big box store. So what it does is it's got a little latch here. This folds down so we can clean out inside here. When I say he, I mean my son, because the bunny's not mine. That closes up, and then there's this little notch in here. This will probably be opened up a lot more. This way Jeffrey can get in here and muck it all out, all the bedding and stuff like that, and get to the little outside area where his food and water will be kept. It's big enough we could put a little heater in here if we needed to. However you do that with a bunny, I'm not sure, but we can do it. It's going to go behind Barb's classroom on the outside, underneath the air conditioner, and sit there. But I just wanted something that was a little bit bigger for him, a little bit more permanent. There's a ledge here that his tray will go underneath, and so when he poops and pees and all that, Jeffrey can just grab the tray and go dump it into the trash. So that's the plan. And it's just made out of scrap. We just made the pieces as we went. We got a little shelf underneath there for the bunny's food and anything else that he needs, bedding and all that. But hopefully he likes it. Here's a preview of our next video. This is a tankless water heater. It runs on propane. We wanted it for the motorhome because the motorhome that we're living in does not have a water heater. I took an old kitchen cabinet out of the house that we're removing, and I put it in here. It's going to flue through the top, and I've got an opening on the bottom here for run braided steel water lines and the propane line, and then I can insulate in here as I need to as winter comes. Right now I'm just really looking forward to getting it hooked up, making sure that it runs well with the motorhome's pump, and that we get enough volume in the shower to just satisfy being able to take a hot shower. Because I do not want this 2-year project and be wondering where my next shower is going to be. And I'm sure the public doesn't either. So, that's that.